Hello everyone, welcome back to Great Broadway Fans YouTube channel. I'm Luke and today it is a very special day because I'm bringing you my very first Tony predictions video because the Tony Awards are exactly 1 week from today. They're going to be broadcast live on CBS on June 12th. James Corden is our host and it has been a wild ride this theatrical season. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each and every one of the musical categories, not the plays, sorry plays, but we're going to go through each of the musical categories and I'm going to give you my prediction on who and what shows I think will win in the top musical categories. It's been a great season, and let me also say one more full disclosure. I do not live in New York City. I have not seen any of these shows. However, based upon original cast recordings, B-roll, production numbers that I've seen performed on television, message boards and bootlegs, I'm giving you my best assumption on who I think will take home the top prizes next Sunday night. So without further ado, let's get started with the nominees. I'm going to scoot over here. Yes, I'm going to scoot over this way. Okay. I have my notes here. Alrighty. So, our nominees for Best Musical are Bright Star, Hamilton, School of Rock the Musical, Shuffle Along, or The Making of the Musical Sensation of 1921 and All That Followed, and Waitress. So, I think that this one is a given. Hamilton is winning Best Musical. There is no show on Broadway that is bigger than Hamilton. I think Hamilton is the biggest sensation that Broadway has seen since 2011's The Book of Mormon. Hamilton is just such a huge juggernaut success that there is no way that this show could not win Best Musical. It has an amazing story. It has a rapturously beautiful score. And it is selling out night after night. It is a huge success. Even though it doesn't need the Tony, it's going to get it. But this category actually got me thinking. If Hamilton was not nominated this season and we had these other remaining shows. Oh, by the way, interesting fact. This is the first year since 1962 that we've actually gotten 5 nominations for Best Musical. For the last 50 years, the category is available to be opened up to 5 nominees, but for the last 50 years, consistently only 4 shows get nominated at a time for Best Musical. But it got me thinking, if Hamilton wasn't nominated this year and we had these other 4 remaining shows, what would have won Best Musical? And looking at this list, I think that Waitress would have won Best Musical. If we didn't have Hamilton this year, I think Waitress would have won Best Musical. And when we get to Best Score, we will also talk about that as well. If Hamilton was not nominated, what other show would win Best Score? Okay, but will win, going to win, should win, Hamilton. Hands down. It's amazing. Okay, Best Revival of a Musical. The Color Purple, Fiddler on the Roof, She Loves Me, and Deaf West production of Spring Awakening. Now, here's what I think. If Spring Awakening was currently running on Broadway right now at the time of the nominations, I think it would have won Best Revival hands down. I think that specifically Deaf West production of Spring Awakening was something so unique and special and so inclusive of both deaf and hearing actors, bringing them to a Broadway stage and performing night after night was just such an incredible show and event. I so wish that I could have seen that. But from everything that I heard, that production was it was so fantastic and just so beautiful. And I honestly think that if it was running, it would win. But because Spring Awakening is closed, I think that the shows that is going to win Best Revival is definitely going to be The Color Purple. Because this revival is really something special. I mean, you have this incredible all-star cast that is bringing the house down every single night, and people are rising to their feet midway through the show with standing ovations. It's absolutely incredible, with John Doyle at the helm, and I think that The Color Purple is going to win. The only show that I could actually see it losing to is Fiddler on the Roof, because this is a big, beautiful Bartlett Shear directed production. He directed the Tony-winning revival of South Pacific and The King and I, and this year he's got Fiddler on the Roof. And if there's any show that could possibly beat The Color Purple, it would be Fiddler. I don't think She Loves Me has a chance because it's a limited roundabout run. If She Loves Me was extending more or was an open-ended run, then I think it would possibly have more of a chance of winning. I mean, the last big hit Roundabout had with a limited running show was Anything Goes, and then it just kept extending and extending and extending until it finally closed in 2012. But She Loves Me is a limited engagement, which is closing on the 10th of July, so I don't think it's going to win Best Revival. Deaf West is closed, so I don't think that's going to win. So I think it is a 60-40 split, with the favor more in towards The Color Purple. Okay, now we have got Best Book of a Musical. We have Steve Martin for Bright Star, Lin-Manuel Miranda for Hamilton, Julian Fellows for School of Rock the Musical, and George C. Wolfe for Shuffle Along. Once again, like Best Musical, I think Lin-Manuel Miranda has this in the bag. I think that Hamilton is just an incredible show. And even though it is a sung-through musical, because I was thinking about this, I mean, can they really give Best Book to a sung-through musical? And yes, they have done that in the past. I mean, if you remember Rent won Best Musical, Best Score, and Best Book, even though it was a sung-through show. But really, the only show that I think that possibly could take it away is Bright Star. I don't think that School of Rock or Shuffle Along could win Best Book, but any of the three other nominees that could be an upset for Hamilton for Best Book would probably be Bright Star. But I think, knowing the Tonys, they're probably going to give this to Hamilton. Okay. Best Original Score, music and or lyrics written for the theater. We have Bright Star, music by Steve Martin and Eddie Brickell, lyrics by Eddie Brickell. Hamilton, music and lyrics by Lin-Manuel Miranda. School of Rock the Musical, music by Andrew Lloyd Webber, lyrics by Glenn Slater. And Waitress, music and lyrics by Sarah Bareilles. Once again, Hamilton is winning this award. It is an incredible score. I think it is really something unique and special that has not been seen on Broadway in my opinion. I mean, In the Heights is sort of the same genre of music that Lin also wrote. But I think that Hamilton's score is so innovative and unique in telling a very old-fashioned story with modern contemporary music, just makes it work so well. And the only other show that I think would have won this award if Hamilton wasn't here was Waitress, because Sarah Bareilles is just an amazing songwriter. She writes these beautiful melodic pieces of poetry set to music. It's just absolutely beautiful. She's funny and she's romantic. She's the whole package. And I really, really hope that even though Sarah won't win a Tony this year, I really hope that she does come back to Broadway with more musicals, because I love Sarah Bareilles. Okay, and our next category, excuse me, Best Performance by a Leading Actor in a Musical. The nominees are Alex Brightman for School of Rock the Musical, Danny Burstein for Fiddler on the Roof, Zachary Levi for She Loves Me, Lin-Manuel Miranda for Hamilton, and Leslie Odom Jr. for Hamilton. I think that since Hamilton is probably going to win Best Musical, Best Book, and Best Score, Lin is not going to win for Best Lead Actor. Also, in a very ironic sort of way, I don't think that Hamilton is actually, even though he is the title character and the musical centers around him, I think that the character in that show that is actually has the bigger, more dramatic character arc is Aaron Burr. So I think that, with all due respect to Alex and Zach and Lynn, I think that the two biggest frontrunners in this category are Leslie Odom Jr. and Danny Burstein. I think that Leslie is probably going to win this, but the reason why I want Danny Burstein to win is for two reasons. One, I think he deserves it more than anyone else in this category. This man has been such a gem to the Broadway world for many years. This is his 6th Tony nomination, and I really think that he deserves this more than anyone. With all due respect to all the nominees and Leslie, I think that Danny deserves to win this. Danny Burstein is like, in my opinion, he's similar to go along with me with this analogy. He's similar to the male equivalent of Kelly O'Hara. Kelly was nominated for 6 Tony Awards before she won her very first one just this past season with The King and I. She was nominated for Featured Actress in Light in the Piazza, and then for leading it went The Pajama Game, South Pacific, Nice Work If You Can Get It, Bridges of Madison County, and then finally she won for The King and I. And I believe that this is Danny's 6th Tony nomination. He has been in so many amazing shows. He was first nominated for The Drowsy Chaperone, and then he was nominated for South Pacific, and I believe he was nominated for a couple of plays. And then he was for Cabaret 2 seasons ago, and now he's nominated here for Fiddler on the Roof. And I just want Danny to win. I think Danny deserves it. I think that with the career that he's had, Danny Burstein deserves this Tony more than Leslie Odom Jr. does. Even though Leslie is amazing in his role, and I think that it is an award-winning role, the character of Aaron Burr, I think Danny deserves the Tony more than Leslie Odom Jr. does. Okay. Best performance by a leading actress in a musical. Our nominees are Laura Benanti for She Loves Me, Carmen Cusack for Bright Star, Cynthia Erivo for The Color Purple, Jessie Mueller for Waitress, and Philippa Soo for Hamilton. Okay. With all due respect to these ladies, who are amazing actresses giving amazing performances 8 shows a week in their respective shows, I think that Philippa Soo's role is not large enough to be considered a leading actress or a leading character in Hamilton. Because Hamilton is unfortunately a very male-centric show. And I was going to say 4, but really the 3 main leading, or the main 3 female characters are Angelica Schuyler, Eliza Schuyler, later Eliza Hamilton, and Marion Reynolds, which is double casted with the role of Peggy Schuyler. And Angelica Schuyler, that character played by Renee Goldsberry, is nominated in the featured category, whereas Philip is nominated in leading, but I really don't think that her character counts as leading. I think it would actually be more, if you want to put a label on it, I think her character's more of a supporting than a leading actress, which is why I don't think Philippa Soo is going to win. I also don't think it's going to go to Jessie, because Jessie just won a Tony 2 years ago for Beautiful, the Carole King musical. Laura Benanti also has a Tony Award for Gypsy, even though I think she's amazing in She Loves Me, and deserves it. I think that the award is going to definitely go to Cynthia Erivo. The Color Purple, like I said, is a very special production, but Cynthia is the true star of the show. It is her Broadway debut. She is bringing the audience to their feet every single night, and I just don't see any other actress in this category taking that award away from her. If Carmen won over Cynthia, I would be okay with it. If Laura won over Cynthia, I would be okay with it. But if Jessie or Philippa won, I would be a little bit disappointed, because I think that the Tonys need to spread the love to all of the nominated shows. not just give it to someone just because their show is up for so many nominations. I think that the person who deserves it is because of their performance. And even though I said that Danny deserves it because of his longevity of his career, I think Danny Burstein also deserves it because of his amazing performance that he's giving in Fiddler. And I think that Cynthia deserves this just as much because of her astounding performance. Okay, now, Best Performance by a Featured Actor in a Musical. Our nominees are Daveed Diggs for Hamilton, Brandon Victor Dixon for Shuffle Along, Christopher Fitzgerald for Waitress, Jonathan Groff for Hamilton, and Christopher Jackson for Hamilton. Now, the really big problem with, not a problem, but the strange thing that happens with the featured performers is that, unlike with the leading performers, you can pretty much tell based on the momentum of the role and the career that they've had, and also if they're picking up other awards at the Outer Critics Circle or the Drama Desk, you can pretty much tell who's going to win for leading. But featured characters are just, it's completely out of the blue. I mean, I remember 2 years ago when featured actress was split between Anika Larson for Beautiful, the Carole King musical, and Lauren Warsham for A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. But then Lena Hall won the Tony for featured actress that year. And I remember when Laura Osnes won leading actress for Cinderella, but Patina Miller won the Tony. So sometimes sometimes it doesn't matter if you've won previous awards or not. Sometimes it just matters about the Tony voters. But with this category, it's really hard. I think that because Jonathan Groff has left Hamilton, he is not currently starring as King George. Rory O'Malley currently is. I don't think Jonathan's going to win. I also don't think it's going to go to Brandon or Christopher Fitzgerald. And while Christopher Jackson is amazing as George Washington, I think Daveed Diggs, who is double casted as both Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson, has this award in the bag. I mean, he's giving an amazing performance. I mean, just listening to the cast recording alone, whenever he is singing, you're just immediately drawn to his voice. It's so magnetic, and I love it so much. So I think Daveed Diggs, hands down, is going to get this. The only other person that I could see possibly beating him is someone else from Hamilton, either Jonathan or Christopher Jackson. Although I don't think that either of them are going to win. I think that that's going to cancel. I think that those two are going to cancel them out, and then I think they're going to give it to Daveed, in my opinion. Okay, Best Performance by a Featured Actress in a Musical. Our nominees are Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, Renee Elise Goldsberry for Hamilton, Jane Krakowski for She Loves Me, Jennifer Simard for Disaster, and Adrienne Warren for Shuffle Along. Like I just mentioned, the featured category is really, really tricky. And I think that the three ladies that are not going to win are Danielle, Jennifer, and Adrienne. I really do think that the race is between Renee and Jane. While Renee Elise Goldsberry is amazing as Angelica Schuyler, she's absolutely incredible in this part. She acts the hell of it. Her voice is amazing. She is incredible. Jane Krakowski is just one of those people that comes into the show and just every time she's on stage, she's just explosive with personality, and she's so incredible in the role of Ilona that even though Laura Benanti and Zachary Levi are not going to win for their nominated roles in She Loves Me, I think Jane Krakowski really does have a chance of possibly beating Renee. I think that all of these women are incredible in their roles, but I think that the two big frontrunners are Renee and Jane. Once again, my opinion. So, that is the end of my Tony predictions video. All of the other awards would be getting into scenic design And, oh, I'm so sorry. I was going to talk about direction. I was. All right, let me find... Okay, there was one more category. I can't believe I almost spaced out on this. Okay, best direction of a musical. We've got Michael Arden for Spring Awakening, John Doyle for The Color Purple, Scott Ellis for She Loves Me, Thomas Kail for Hamilton, and George C. Wolfe for Shuffle Along. This is what I was thinking about. If the Tonys are going to give Spring Awakening anything, then I think it could be Best Director. Even though the show is closed, I think that Spring Awakening was so special that if they were going to give it to if they were going to give any of the nominated awards to Spring Awakening, I really think it could possibly be Best Director. But if not, then I think Thomas Kail is going to win for Hamilton. I think that George C. Wolfe, Scott Ellis, and John Doyle are both incredible with the shows that they've directed, but Thomas Kail will probably win this for Hamilton. The only upset that I could see would be Michael Arden for Spring Awakening. If the Tonys want to give it to a closed show because it was something special, and it was really something unique and very innovative, I think that they could, and I think that they should, give it to Michael Arden. But if not, then Thomas Kail's going to win. Okay, so that is the end of my Tony Predictions video. Look at that. We are 20 minutes. Okay, thank you so much for watching this. Be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you are not already subscribed. You can follow me on all of my other social media on Twitter and Instagram. Links to that are in the video description. You can also follow me at my other YouTube channel, GreatBroadwayFan. All the links to that, once again, in the video description. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time, and be sure to tune into the Tonys at 8 o'clock on June 12th, next Sunday, and I will see you then. Okay.